Welcome to the Your Living Proof podcast. If you love someone struggling with addiction and are searching for answers, we're so glad you found us. Families are the cornerstone of long-term recovery, yet they often go unsupported. Our mission is to strengthen and support this vital but often overlooked part of the addiction recovery process. We're here to help families understand what their role is and isn't in this journey. Addiction deceives and takes everything you're willing to give. But if you know better, you can do better. And we're here to help you do just that. If you're asking, how can I help my addicted loved one? This is your community.
If you enjoy watching podcasts, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more support and resources between episodes, follow us on Instagram at Your Living Proof or visit our website at yourlivingproof.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Your Living Proof podcast.
Welcome to our wild world.
Okay, I don't know, but it's like we're having the blackout. You know, like in high school football, Friday Night Lights, they go and they do the blackout. I guess that's what we're doing today.
It is.
My wife's wearing all black. I'm wearing all black.
We're just in mourning because it's so freaking cold. It is so cold.
It wasn't planned. So if you're listening into the episode, remember we do have a YouTube channel. There's some video to it.
Yes. Watch the YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube.
That
would be awesome.
My wife always does her hair. Sometimes it might be the only time during the week for the show.
Well, church and then podcast day. That's it.
That's why I'm always a bit distracted. Because she does her hair, she's looking phenomenal, and I have to focus in on some really heavy topics. But no, today's something awesome. And you know what? Believe it or not, I think today's topic and the content we're talking about is something a lot of people are going to relate to. And I think be grateful that someone's finally talking more about. We touched on this in a previous...
We've talked about it a little bit, but I told Danny after just like so many times, even in the last 2 weeks that this has come up, I'm like, we're doing another episode. Like we're going to do that's our next episode. Because
it's something that's affecting the people who listen to this show, the people who are targeted by our efforts, the families that we're seeking. This is something that's affecting those homes, right? People that come from goodly parents, from homes that are good places. And Satan's getting so creative that he's finding easy ways to target people who may not even be looking at it or think that what's being introduced to them is dangerous.
Correct.
So we're going to get into that. But real quick, can I tell a story before we do?
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember last night?
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk on that because it's something that happens with us often.
Yeah.
You guys know the mantra to our life. Our secrets keep us sick. Last night, we had a good friend come by going through some extreme difficulties in his life. Just to sum this up, this is an awesome friend who's overcome the impossible multiple times.
Yeah.
Honestly, shouldn't be here, shouldn't be alive, has witnessed every type of trauma and tragedy, not just failures himself in his own addiction, but just
other people's decisions and choices.
Heartache, trauma. So anyway, a person who's a few years into the recovery and trying, and recently had a partner of his fall into their addiction, actually, ironically, on specifically to one of the topics we're talking about today, but that's irrelevant. And some real difficult things have come about in his life. So here it is that he's kind of corrected the course of his life. Mm-hmm. Now someone else's life is spiraling out of control that's affecting him. So the reason I'm sharing this story is someone I care about, someone that's close to us, comes by and expresses the gravity to which they are suffering. Mm-hmm. And they even messaged and was like, hey, can I come by? And I'm human, right? I'm tired. I just got done watching an awesome football game. I'm like, I just want to go to bed. Well, they come by and share something. I won't get into the details of what was shared, but it was heavy enough that they were literally questioning, like...
He was definitely questioning whether he wanted to carry on with this life.
To keep going.
Like, truly just kind of like, I've tried, and I've tried, and I've had some small wins, but I can't sustain it, and I'm tired, and I'm done.
And just, he unloaded a heavy burden with people that he could trust. Now, we didn't have all the exact answers. We had some things to share. But that feeling he was carrying is what I describe as a secret. Because it's a secret until we actually share it with someone. Now, we can share that with God all we want. And often we should, and that should produce miracles. But what is he actually waiting for us to do? He's waiting for someone else to work as an instrument in his hands to be that segue, right? Because you still have the practical side of needing to share it with someone.
Yeah.
To continue drawing closer and ultimately turning it over to him. So it was just amazing because he shared that, and I was so grateful he did. And it just reminded us that when we harbor these secrets, they can feel unbelievably overwhelming. So heavy that if we don't, often we see the negative result of what happens with people if they don't share those.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I would say that's the most common response to those feelings, is keeping them inside and allowing them, the despair, to actually bully you into a place where you would end your life.
And you know what? In his situation, I think most people that would look at it there would be some justification. Wow, that's a lot. Yep. Like, you can understand, whoa, with all that you've gone through and the burden that he's going through right now, okay, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But most of you out there who have a loved one, whether it's a child or a spouse, whether the trauma that they've experienced is to that degree, or maybe it's just what seems to you as a simple burden that they don't feel like they fit in. Mm-hmm. They just didn't get the playbook to life. That burden feels just as heavy to them as maybe the gravity of what he's dealing with in this situation. So we can't judge a person's pain.
No.
But we often do. I'm just so glad that he did. And this is what's really cool, is when we start to open up and we no longer carry these burdens alone, God starts to just in a masterful way, put these little pieces of the puzzle together.
That's what I was hoping you'd share, is I'm like, it was really an honor that he felt like he could open up and share what he did with us. But what went 10 times beyond that was the honor that both Danny and I felt that God trusted us to say the right words in that moment, or to point him towards something else. And then it was like a domino effect.
While we were talking to him, because we weren't by our phones, we didn't even know, but a really good friend of ours, this amazing woman, had just ironically
had just left an ARP meeting.
Addiction Recovery Program for Families meeting. And there was a song and a message shared. So she sent this over while we're in the middle of this discussion with him. And after he left, we saw the message and we were like, oh my gosh, the message was for him.
Yeah, it was for him.
And it talked about just like that you're enough. You've always been enough. God has always loved you. But it just talked about the practical things people need to do to start overcoming. This song was beautiful. So we immediately, of course, sent it to him.
Yeah.
And I just looked back before I went to bed and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
You know those little games when you're little that have all those numbers and the dots?
Yeah.
And you just start following it. Do you know what I'm talking about? And eventually the picture just starts to come to life.
Yeah.
And
the dot to dot.
The dot to dot. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So that's what would happen last night. And I realized, that's how God works. He can perform these miracles, but he's waiting for all of us to take that leap of faith, to reach out, to share with someone, to ask for help, to raise your hand and say, someone, please help me. And then all of a sudden the pieces of that dot to dot start to come to life.
Yeah, it was truly amazing. And if you're wondering what song it was, by the way, it was Dear God by Corey Asbury. So definitely check out that song.
Yeah, tag him in this.
If you're like, I want to know.
Got to tag that artist, because it was really the lyrics to that song.
It was stunning.
Are just stunning.
Anyway,
let's get on.
Yeah.
But please, if you're listening to this message, whether it's you carrying the burden or it's someone that you love, that's the real issue. Okay, it's not these things that they're taking and consuming, although these things they're consuming have got to be addressed, because otherwise we never get to touch the underlying issues. So
correct.
Today we are talking about something. Here's your teaser.
We've teased him enough. Just say what it is.
That is unregulated, accessible, and highly addictive. Now that could probably describe quite a few things.
Yeah, and it is describing two things.
But this is the K and K. Specifically Kratom and ketamine.
Maybe you've never heard of one of those or both of them, but we're going to talk about it today. If you're like, oh my gosh, finally, we're gonna hash it out.
It's one of, I mean, aside from like Adderall and porn being like the cocktail of the speedball of this generation, these two are running rampant and for lots of reasons. So in the episode today, we want to talk about these two substances because, yes, they are legal, they're easily accessible, and often marketed as safe.
Well, they are marketed as safe, like 100%. They don't have like a warning label on them. In fact, they're more even marketed as a natural alternative to dangerous, quote, dangerous drugs.
Kratom specifically was first advertised as like natural, therapeutic, non-addictive. There is currently, as we speak, massive legislation being done to reverse that because it was unregulated.
In the state of Utah, at least, I'm sure other states are catching on quickly. But for Utah, we know it's a problem, but yet it's still in all the gas stations, just like my teenager could go buy it.
So this is not a political or moral discussion. We just want to provide facts because no one else is talking about this in a practical way.
Yeah, well, I just think there's like the moral discussion, which to me right now is totally irrelevant. It's the public health side of it. It's actually, more importantly to me, it's the family crisis because it's actually creating this storm around families that is perfectly curated for disaster because, again, it's the cliche of like, it's natural. I don't have to have a prescription. There's no harm. Like in fact, it's therapeutic. And so it's do you see how cunning that sounds? Like that's confusing because it's hard to argue with, right?
Well, okay, can we look at both sides?
Yeah.
Because when your loved one benefits from it, right? Let's say they're in the beginning stage of benefiting from it, right? It's a counterfeit. There's still a benefit. It's still giving them some joy. Don't worry, that only lasts for so long till they have to take 10 times the amount and then they start to feel sick without it and it just changes everything. But let's say they're even in the beginning stage. They are being deceived by this.
Very much
so. Before you're deceived by this, which is coming through them and from them, they're deceived themselves, which is why they started.
Yeah. I want to like break it down so that we can talk. I want to talk about them separately because they are different. They're very different from each other. And the person who's going for these things is arriving at them differently.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, the reasons, the root reasons that people are going in this direction, it differs a little bit, but the overall thing is for like chronic pain.
Sure.
And again, they're looking at this as a healthier alternative than some things, obviously,
sure.
right? They're looking at it for anxiety, depression. Some people actually are trying to utilize these to recover from opioid dependency, but it's just to deal with trauma, just to cope. A lot of people just to feel better. That's specifically with these two. It's just to have a better quality of life is kind of what some people are looking at these for.
Yeah, and just so you're aware, like of where somebody could get these, they're at Kratom is at vape shops, gas stations, obviously like online stuff. Ketamine is, I would say, like nurse practitioners, especially in like the therapy world, for sure. Online, for sure. Every time I get on Facebook, I don't know why, but I'm targeted for ketamine therapy to be delivered to my house. And then clinics, just mental health clinics.
Oh, and online. All these things are accessible online.
I said online.
Oh, well, you don't even have to show up to go somewhere. Now, again, there's people listening. We're already going to get hate. There's people who are going to stop listening right now and start sending us these pushback.
How ketamine helped them work through. We're not talking about that type of supervised therapeutic work.
I'll just go out and say, under professional supervision for very specific people in unique situations, there is a therapeutic benefit.
Yeah.
Maybe. But it's extremely small percentage.
Yep.
And the rest is being used as a Band-Aid covering up something to avoid. It's still a chemical solution. But for even those who are using it safely, the risk is not being stated as to how highly addictive this becomes.
Yeah. Amen. So let's start
with Kratom.
Kratom.
It's pretty much known as the gas station heroin. There's different names on the street you could go by. I mean, I've heard some. It's like K chill, K train. There's different terms that people are using. It's a plant-based substance, right? We could get into all of it. I did a post on our social media where it comes from, and what it was supposed to be used for. And there's parts of the world that it's being used regularly.
Oh, yeah.
But can I just practically, just from a personal perspective, is hearing the volume, the surge of people recently, and these are people that maybe would have never even otherwise fallen into addiction or gone down these paths, experiencing some of the most agonizing and excruciating pain, now trying to get off of something that for a period of time they felt like was benefiting them.
Oh, yeah. Like amazing, wonderful people that were not seeking out like to have withdrawals or addiction in their life. Like truly, maybe somebody a little bit naive to, you know, what could have happened, but not anyone with a bad intention. That's why I think, to me, it's so devastating. I'm like, it's usually just some innocent person that's like, oh, okay, chill. I need to, like, my life is so overwhelming. Like, I for sure need help to chill. If I could be a better mom today by just taking it down a notch or two, that's actually great, right?
Yes. It's all appearing to be harmless, especially here's the reason why. They're comparing it to what? I mean, look at the standards in society have all but collapsed. So they're comparing it to, well, it's nothing like fentanyl. It's nothing like heroin or meth or cocaine, right? Like we're always comparing these substances to these harsh, nasty words that people have finally come to realize are life-threatening.
Well, and I think also it's like, it's also the person that's like, well, I would never take like a gummy, I would never try weed, or I would never, you know, they even have that standard where they're like, I don't want to legal. Even if it's legal, no. But do you see how this one is like twisted? Because it's just at the gas station. Like you don't have to fill out a form. You don't have to get permit. Like it's sold as a completely legal, just like you would buy an energy drink.
There's like natural food stores selling it. There's vape shops. There's gas stations selling it. And again, there's even this marketing effort online of this microdosing, right? Mm-hmm. Even that itself, like, oh, we're just doing these little microdoses that's going to be regulated and controlled. What happens, guys? The practical side of this. I've heard from some women recently, specifically women. I don't know why it's been targeted just to women, but it's also men, where it started out with the microdosing. All of a sudden, just look at the practical side of this. These little microdoses of it were probably...
Of Kratom?
Yeah, or either.
Oh,
on both.
I thought we were talking about Kratom.
No, we are.
Okay.
But taking these small little amounts that actually improve the quality of life.
Sure.
No one is
actually
speaking
take you down a notch. Yeah.
No one is speaking about the truth. It works. It actually works, just like most other substances. That little dose improves their quality of life. It makes them feel better.
For a minute.
But all of a sudden, in order to have that same effect, they have to kind of double the dose or double the amount of or frequency in which they're taking it.
Yeah.
Before you know it, all of these substances that are either opiate-based or opiate-like, similar to that, it's amazing how quick your body builds up a tolerance. So even within a week or 2 weeks, you're now 2, 3, 4, 5 times the volume and frequency you were doing before, just to have that
same effect.
That same effect.
Well, and it's interesting too, because if you think about it, like that's exactly how fast it happens and how fast your life can go from like, oh yeah, this is just kind of helping me, to completely out of control and someplace that you were not trying to go to, right? Like you were never like wanting to feel dependency on anything.
They're almost in shock when it happens, where all of a sudden, when you don't have it, you don't have access to it, you feel horrible.
Yeah.
So now it's not even about actually feeling better and having a better quality of life. All of a sudden you're sick without it. And that's where it becomes really dangerous and it becomes secret.
Well, and I'll just say, like, somebody that I ran into that was telling me about this was that she was personally so devastated because she was like, I literally didn't know that I was addicted to it. And I went, like, I was taking it and it just was kind of helping me cope just with like life, just regular life. She wasn't even it wasn't anything specific, but, and she went on vacation and she didn't think about needing it. Cause again, she's like, I'm not like addicted to it. It's just, and she started having these really crazy withdrawal symptoms. And she couldn't, she was even trying to like figure out, why do I feel this way? Like, what is going on? What has changed? And that's when she realized, oh my gosh, I haven't had Kratom in 4 days. And guess what? Like, you don't get, insurance isn't going to cover your detox stay. Like, not for Kratom.
Yeah, that's where I was going to next, is the dangers in this and how destructive it can be. Satan is selling it as a counterfeit. Okay. All of a sudden we agreed, okay, these other things, they're horrible. Opioids, horrible. The story that you just shared, I could hit repeat and show you a list of people in my inbox telling the same story, most of which didn't find out that they were addicted till they went on a vacation or they traveled to see family and they didn't have it and became horribly ill. The dark side of this and how Satan just becomes more and more like creative in his attack is, yes, it is not yet, which it will be soon, mark my word, it is not yet classified as a controlled substance. Therefore, the legalities of insurance and how that works is they're unable in most all cases to pay when people go to the hospital and need medical detox because it doesn't check the box that insurance can pay for it like it does with opioids.
Sure. Anything else. Alcohol.
That is sick and twisted. So it's taking good people. And you know how many people are using it? We're going to move on. But they're using this as an alternative. People who had chronic pain, right? People whose doctors had put them on pain pills a long time ago to deal with chronic pain.
And they're like, I don't want to do that anymore.
They're looking this as a healthy alternative to that. All I can say, take the science away, go ahead and read what you want online because it's really filtered what's out there, but more and more it's becoming a problem, is go into a detox, come with me to a hospital, come with me to a treatment center, and look at these people who are trying to get off of this, and they are suffering just as much as people trying to get off fentanyl and heroin. And in some regards, they're suffering more. Why? Because people doing fentanyl and heroin, they understand when it's time to come off, they're aware of what's coming, which is reason why most of them won't get off because they're terrified. But these are almost more innocent type people, have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
So the suffering is actually even greater.
Yeah. And the shame of it too. And that's why I just felt like it was so important that we talk about this today, because I'm like, I guarantee you know somebody who's messed with this stuff. And maybe it's your kid or maybe it's one of their friends and they think it's harmless. And it's just really, really important for you to be empowered to know and to be able to say with all of your heart and soul, no, I don't care if it's legal. Has no business in anybody's life. No one will benefit from this.
If you already know or you find out soon, I plead with you to not fall victim to the most dangerous thing, which is what you will most likely do. Use the word just. Even if you found it or discovered, or let's say you recently did, that's horrifying. But we still go, well, it's just.
He just got it from the gas station. It's just this.
It's not this. All addictions are progressive. This isn't my opinion. It is scientific facts. They're all progressive, and it will progress. And if you don't effectively intervene now, this only gets worse. And the nightmare that's coming ahead of you, you can't comprehend.
Amen.
We can no longer brush this under the rug. If people want to defriend us, is that the word? Because unfollow us. Criticize us for saying this because they're out there.
Oh, we've gotten that. Like when we've posted about it before, people are going off like, bro, you don't know anything. You obviously have never tried it. You don't know anything about addiction.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
Because we're, quote, using it safely and it's having, quote, benefits in our life.
This has benefited me.
Well, come talk to me in 6 months or 12 months from now when your entire life has fallen apart.
Yep.
So the next one, the second K, ketamine, special K, trank. There's lots of different words that's used for this. For some of you, you might know exactly what we're talking about. Other people are like, wait, what? What is this?
Yeah.
It's a tranquilizer.
Like for horses.
It really was. And for all animals, like.
No, like literally. Like this is how you knock out a horse if you need to do surgery.
Now, Kratom's surging through the streets. Again, this is something new. It wasn't around when I was in my dysfunction, 18 plus years ago. Ketamine was. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a party drug. It was something people used in certain cases, and they knew it was going to have an extreme effect. I mean, people would take it and pretty much expect to black out and have this trip for a little while. But it's also, under the surface, just growing into a massive problem. Now, this one isn't sold just right at your local gas station.
You have to have a prescription or you can get it online.
But it's an easy thing to get a prescription for just about any reason.
Absolutely.
Pretty much you just have to ask for it.
Yep.
There is, like we said, there's telehealth appointments they can do where it's coming from overseas and it's just shipped straight to their house.
The thing that I've been hearing lately from more and more people is the lozenges, though. Like they just have these little pieces of candy.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that applies to both. Like with Kratom, for example, it's either a pill form that just looks like a multivitamin pill, or it's in these little tiny, tiny little vials where it's just like this.
It looks like a little 5-hour energy shot.
Yep.
That's what it looks
almost
like.
Exactly. Marketed the same too.
Yeah.
Kids wouldn't even know the difference.
Right next to it, just like, yep.
Which you do have to show an ID for.
Yeah.
For some.
You do have to show an ID.
Yeah.
It's true.
But with ketamine, it's different, but it's still easily accessible. It's shipped right to your home. And again, people are just justifying it for reasons I will come out and say that makes sense in the beginning. There is always, in the beginning stages, some actual benefit. This is the part that's really hard. And parents out there that have young kids, I challenge you to start. I just had this conversation with our middle child. I didn't tell you the other day. Yeah. He saw something and was questioning. Is continually reminding them, hey, the reason people do this, don't be deceived, is because it, for a brief period of time, is super fun. But none of them think that they'll be the type of people that get hooked, and they all do.
Yeah.
It only lasts for a period of time as a benefit before it doesn't. You remember that video we had on our social media page of that little bird or something that was running and picking up? That's what he saw. He saw that on YouTube, and he's like, Dad, look, this is like a little cartoon about addiction.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor. It was perfect.
We'll have to link that in the notes, that little video.
Can, for sure.
But it was a reminder to him of what really happens. So this is a tranquilizer. It's dangerous. It's being sold in easy and convenient ways to take. Both Kratom and ketamine, there's no scent, right? Back in the day, if you used drugs or alcohol, it was really hard to get away with it. Mm-hmm. You stunk. You smelled like it. There were visible symptoms.
Yeah.
It was a lot harder to get away with. Nowadays, there's no odor.
Yeah.
It's not creating visible changes in people, but it's extremely dangerous.
Yes.
Extremely dangerous.
Well, and I guess I want to chime in and just say, I know more than a handful of people personally who were given this as actually like from a doctor to cope with cancer, right? Like this is like something you can do when you're in extreme pain and you actually kind of need to disassociate a little bit from the experience you're going through, the pain you're in. And so they didn't take it. They took it to relieve like actual pain.
Well, can I read on the drug fact real quick?
Sure.
Because on that note, like the DEA's drug fact list, if you go look it up, ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic that has some hallucinogenic effects. It distorts perceptions and of sight and sound and makes the user feel disconnected, which is, like you said, it's a temporary relief from pain. But it's also, ketamine can induce a state of sedation and allow people to feel calm and relaxed, which is sometimes what's being used
Yep.
in these therapeutic sessions.
That was exactly what I was going to talk
Sorry
about.
to steal your thunder.
No, you didn't. This is why it's so important, because think about the different angles we're talking about. Oh, how could it be harmful? It's used to help cancer patients. You know what? In that situation, I believe that that's probably a helpful thing for that person for a small period of time.
Yeah, it's like we've shared before. Do you know where actually ketamine came about? Was for cancer patients, also like for war vets, people who came back and experienced, trauma that most of us will never, ever comprehend. Just the visuals they saw.
But what's interesting is how quickly your mind can go from like, yeah, okay, that was for that period of time, to, I wonder what would happen if I did that with my husband. What if we just had a little ketamine session together, like just to like reconnect?
Or we just did some ayahuasca together and found a much deeper level connection spiritually and physically.
I'm saying this because this is the story that I hear on repeat. Mind you, also, ketamine is not unlike any other drug, and that like your first experience with it is probably really, well, to me, it would be the worst thing ever because you're just out of control. But you will require more and more and more of it to have the same experience, right? So therefore, things can get out of control rather quickly. People can do things out of character rather quickly when they're feeling the need to acquire the amount of this drug they need. I can't emphasize enough how accessible this drug is. If you want ketamine, you could order some to your house today. You could go to a clinic and get a prescription. You could order it online. It is not difficult to get. And the reason why that is important to know is because people think then, well, what are you going to do about it? It's not illegal. What? I'm not abusing anything. I'm not a drug addict. Like, it's almost like alcohol, right? Like, you can get it anywhere if you have the right ID and whatever.
That's where it comes down to the moral thing. It's
really hard to like call someone out and be like, you have a problem. You're doing too much ketamine. No, my therapist gave me that. No, you're abusing it, right? Like, it's really hard. That's a tough conversation. Like, how do you have that?
Yeah, go ahead. You could go do some ayahuasca with your spouse in the rainforest, doing some chants and running around without your clothes on, and probably have an amazing experience. But what happens next when you go home? You're craving that again. We want to go to that level. We want to connect like that again. So what do? You go do it again. Mm-hmm. And soon your brain starts craving that experience. Now, again, there are these therapeutic situations. If people are paralyzed in trauma and we're trying to take steps 1, 2, and 3 to come back to a place of realization to start healing, I see how it can help people take those few steps. Mm-hmm. But right now, what we're trying to do is enhance our quality of life, enrich the experience we're having, connect with our deeper self. So go ahead. Go ahead and flirt with what they call fire, right? Is that the term?
Yeah.
Because the chances are you will have that experience.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
So there's 3 things to break this down to before we close. There's prevention. I hope most of us do not become deceived that you may experience a benefit from something and know that it is a counterfeit. Because if you don't learn how to develop that naturally, you'll always be seeking that out. Eventually, you'll have to do more to have the same experience. And here's the kicker. Do you think there's one person on the planet, like the 3 people that we spoke to last week whose loved ones are now in the hospital or treatment on ketamine or kratom, who thought that would happen to them? Do you think one of them started out thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm going to lose control and I'm going to fall on my face just like everyone else.
I'm going to lose my family over this"?
Nope. I will never be like those losers. I'm a disciplined person. That will never happen to me.
I would never shoot up. I would never do those crappy jobs. No, this is natural.
So the 3 things to look at: prevention, take ownership. I may have to pass on some of those things that look appealing, even if there is a possibility of benefit, because I can clearly connect the dots of where that goes.
And I'm just going to, sorry, while you're saying that, I had a thought. You might have to pass, and you might have to you might have to be the lone wolf standing there, because there may be people who you admire, who in your life before didn't lead you astray, who would participate in this. People that you literally have looked up to before could be deceived by this, and you might have to be the one that says no.
Yeah. Influencers, leaders, even church leaders. Again, because everyone who's trying to deceive you is being deceived. They did benefit. Oh my gosh, this just opened my eyes to a whole nother level of understanding and enriched my spirituality. Sure. But what's it going to take to get back to that point? That experience you just had. So the three things: there's prevention and being able to connect the dots and avoiding that path of destruction, again, that no one thinks is going to happen. Number two is there's that middle phase. If your loved one's doing this, if you discovered it, that's the most difficult place, is because it's like, what do we do?
Yeah.
It's hard to intervene. It's just this, which we warned you is the most dangerous thing to say. And there's some difficulties there. But it's understanding that all addictions are progressive, and it will get worse. Or it's to the point where, oh my gosh, this is out of control. My life's become unmanageable because of this. The same thing applies. You need help. The moral of the story is stop waiting. Stop waiting for things to become so horrid that now they are using these other drugs, because they always do.
Yeah. I was going to say.
And then people are like, oh my gosh, I never thought this was happening.
Yeah.
We're watching addiction progress and evolve faster than policies. So we can no longer wait for government to be like, this is illegal, this is dangerous, this isn't.
Amen.
Satan's in relentless pursuit. This is a spiritual battle for souls. It's like the same topic with like porn. In most regards, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
It's easily accessible. It's undetectable. It's evolving, and people are just sitting back waiting, not knowing what to do. So families are paying the price.
Right.
And silence and minimizing, is what's fueling all of this.
Yep.
So what we're encouraging everyone to do is to share this. Share this.
I guarantee people who like you thought of when you saw the name of this episode that are like, oh my gosh, I know their husband does ketamine, or I know they're worried about their kid doing kratom. Like, you're not alone. It's a big deal. It's a huge problem.
Please stop waiting for it to get so bad that everyone else is aware and your life is in shambles, because it only gets harder for your loved one, and it only gets harder for you. Be the one that's willing to stand up and be like, no, this isn't okay. I'm not a fool. We are not unique to anyone else in where this is going, and I refuse to let it happen. Learn to effectively intervene if they are abusing kratom and ketamine the same way you would if you found out they were doing meth and fentanyl, because they are the same. Mm-hmm. However, these ones are just going to drag people down a path of misery and destruction far longer than the others, because we've all been deceived.
Facts.
So come together. There is power when people say, it's similar to the story we shared at the beginning. We harbor these secrets. We keep these secrets inside. And if you have a loved one that's dealing with this, and you've already caught wind of it, and you're scared to even tell your family or friends or confront them, you need a professional, you need a community, and you need some tools.
Yes, amen.
Sitting back and waiting is doing nothing other than just giving Satan more and more time to sit and control a person and destroy the entire family behind them.
Yeah. So check out the links in the show notes for, you can join our private community. You can join our school community. Please check those notes and share those links with other people. And I'm going to read the Serenity Prayer for families. God grant me the serenity to accept that I cannot change other people, the courage to change the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that it is me.
Have a great week, guys. Thanks for following us. Please share this episode with someone else. We'll see you soon.